proudest day, and the proudest time, and the seat of a rally car, because that day and that hour and those minutes, I got the bit between my teeth. You know, I really stood up and was counted and said, this is not getting away. I remember when we pulled on our helmets and Donald says to me, what are we doing? I said, we're going for gold, Barrett. That's all was said. I can still picture that run. That was just the best run ever.
Welcome along to Krunching Gears, the Rally Podcast, episode 32. I'm once again joined by my co-host, Connor Edwards. Connor, you're welcome as always.
Hi, Cathan. Thank you very much. Great to be here.
Excellent. In this episode, we'll look back at the Bushwhacker, the Omagh Grand Prix. It was on at the weekend. We'll catch up with the winners from it. We'll speak to Patrick and Stephen O'Brien, Cathan McCourt, and then Liam Moynihan, the two-wheel drive winners, Alan Smyth and Gary McCrudden. And then we'll have a wee bit more of an in-depth conversation then with Jason Mitchell. And he'll be kind of telling us how his season's going to date. He talked about at the weekend snakes and ladders, and he explains that in a wee bit more detail, but more on that in a few minutes. Start off with Connor. Were you tuning in to the Omagh Grand Prix at the weekend?
I was indeed, Kevin. Unfortunately, I wasn't there, but I was certainly following it on Twitter. Yeah, listen, it was interesting. I thought Cathan McCourt had it in the bag, and when I went back and checked the Twitter results, all things had changed again.
It was, it lived up to its name. It was like 10th of a second. We were used to 10th of a second on the tarmac, but never this level of racing on the gravel. Like it was frantic at the weekend. The two boys, Desi Henry was in the mix for the battle. Then he had like a half spin, but the dust just caught up with him, and and then a slow puncture, and Jason Mitchell, a bounce back again, which was great to see. But Patrick O'Brien, not only going for the one, but going for the championship. It was a brave move, going flat out for the Rally 1, and could have risked the championship for it, but it was a fantastic display.
Absolutely, and from what I saw from video and pictures and that, it was lovely, dry, fast paced. It was dusty, very dusty actually, and look, Patrick put it all on the line, and it all went. The cards all fell his way.
Mm-hmm. Like Patrick has a great belief in his own ability, and I don't know how you would describe it. He seemed to not to get stressed about it. It just well within his capabilities. Great talent, and we keep forgetting this Patrick. He's still very young yet. I think he's only 24, 25. When you look at his list of results, he hasn't done that many rallies altogether. And to be at that level is phenomenal.
Yeah, and himself and Stephen, good pairing, and they've really got to grips with that Fabia R5, and Patrick is certainly able to make it dance over the stages.
That's for sure. And Cathan McCourt, chatting to Liam Moynihan, and when you think about the amount of second and thirds they've had over the past year, like their day will come. It really seems to have clicked with the Fiesta again. It's great to see it, and we can't overlook Jason Mitchell. He had a cautious start. He said before the start he wanted to take it handy over the first couple of stages just to get the confidence built. Himself and Desi then had a great battle, and like Desi has been the form man this year. Like he has more or less any rally he's finished this year, he's won it, I think. So only but for that puncture and slow puncture and then the slight overshoot, he would have been in that mix, no doubt about it as well.
Absolutely, and especially as that Fiesta seems to be sorted, all the little glitches and gremlins seem to be out of it now, and it's certainly running pretty smoothly. And as you say, had it not just been for a slow puncture and a little bit of a spin, Desi would have been up there all right.
Sure. And that's not taking nothing away from the other guys in the top 10. There's some great performances right down through the top 10 and right throughout the field. Many class battles there. Two-wheel drive, then Alan Smyth and Gary McCrudden come out victorious there. Just narrowly beating Adrian Hillington and Gary Nolan, and then Donald Sweeney and Ashley Trimble and third in the historic car. Brilliant drive by them to take third in a BDA.
Absolutely, yeah, they did really well. And another crew there that were, I suppose, using it for a bit of practice for the BRC were Alan Carmichael and Arthur Kieran's.
Yeah, yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, and Hyundai as well. There were some great results. Jordan Home, like his first year in an R5 Fiesta, like up there, I think he finished, was it fifth at the finish up, fifth or sixth. That can't be overlooked. He settled in really well to that car. I do think come this time next year he's going to be a strong contender. Connor McCourt, Mark Donnelly. The list goes on, right down through, and then also in the Rally 4, a guy that's been on the show now a couple of times, Ryan Caldwell. He's won the Tarmac Championship and the Forestry Championship in his first year of rally, and that's brilliant. It's great to see it.
It is, no, that's pretty impressive going, and certainly the forestry, we really do get to see the young talent coming through, and it is great to see it. And what do you call it? Grace O'Brien on the notes there with Ryan as well.
That's for sure. But enough of us talking nonsense here. We'll catch up with the winners from the weekend. So first of all, we'll catch up with Patrick and Stephen O'Brien, and then we'll hear from Cathan McCourt, and then Liam Moynihan. Then the two-wheel drive winners is Alan Smyth and Gary McCrudden. And then finally, we spoke a minute about there, Ryan Caldwell and Grace O'Brien. So we'll hear their story. Welcome along the winners of the 2022 Bushwhacker Rally and the Irish Forestry Championship. What are they, lads? Patrick and Stephen O'Brien?
Yeah, thank you very much.
So I'll start with Patrick. Patrick, you started out today, the plan was to win the championship, but you get caught up in the battle over the what?
Yeah, for sure. The plan was this morning, like my dad said, no racing, just get around. And then obviously with Cathan and our boys, like I don't know what happened. I ended up in a race. The last two stages we just said, hey, we're going to go first. So thankfully it worked out.
And what stages, what the battle, might have been involved in that?
It's brilliant. Especially with Cathan, that's twice in a row. We're going to have to go again next year. But it's fantastic racing along with him.
And Stephen, from your side of the car too, whenever that battle's on, it must be a magic feeling.
Weirdly, I find it easier to read the notes when it's like that, so it's a weird one. But I would love to be outside watching it too, because there's a few corners we went through today and I could see spectators with their hands in their head and they're probably thinking these guys aren't wise, but I'd say it was the same for Cathan. Hey, it's a good show to put on.
Yeah, and you've seen earlier on there, you're naming the trophy, that's 2 years now, and your father's name was on it almost 20 years ago. That's a lovely thing to have as well.
It meant a lot to us last year, but it's been sweeter there today. I don't know why, maybe with the championship, but it's always nice to have it on your home rally.
Yeah. And Patrick, the championship has been nip and tuck with yourself in Jordan all year. To come out and talk on the championship, you know how much that means to you. You're around part of the MI Academy this year and all that. All those wee things all gel together and make today's all sweeter.
Yeah, especially with the academy, they give me so much help in the background. It's fantastic. You couldn't do without them. I have to say to Jordan too, he's had a phenomenal year. Himself and a partner, Adam Platt. The car that he's given them has been faultless too. They've done a fantastic job as well. But it worked for us. Yeah,
and we spoke before, about the family-run team you have. You work in this car, you drive the car. You're all involved in it. You couldn't, it must be special to know that the car you've helped prepare is winning rallies as well.
Yeah, for sure. I know it's a family-run team, but the boys do it at a very professional level. It's done right. So yeah. It proves it today.
The car is exceptional. It's as good as anything in the country, really.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So, lads, enjoy the champagne, and thank you very much for coming. McCourt, second for the second year in a row. This man here is going to be hard beat, this Patrick O'Brien man.
He's going hard now, he's going hard definitely here. Here today, just the old dust and stuff probably didn't work in our favour, but no, I can't say we had nothing left. Here we tried our best, and look here, there was only 1 second, I think, from the brake broke it was up at the finish. So here it's good racing, it's good to see it. He definitely polished hard, won the championship, and still keep that pace. He's going very hard.
And for your own point of view, you have that pace now too, so you're mixed. You are one of the fastest men in gravel in Ireland. It's a nice feeling, that.
Look, here's great, and all the boys that was here, you've had Dazzy and all them other boys behind him, and look, I suppose probably one of the best entries in the gravel that there was in Ireland this year, so to be up at the forefront of that is definitely, I haven't done a big pilot gravel rally in a year, and to just be fit to come in and step into it again, it's just good to see. So, here's good.
And like, you talked about, this rally is probably one of the best entries this year, and some of the best stages as well, like there.
Oh, definitely. The rally is probably one of the best run rallies in Ireland. Good service there, good stages, and look here, the weather played this part in it too with good weather. And look, the stages haven't been driven the last 2 years, so they were in top condition as well. The stages are better than some of the stages in England, so I'd say that's why the pace was so hot this weekend. Like, and look, some of the cuts that boys are taking out there, it's like you wouldn't guess it in the ERC. Like, so I think if some of them boys come over here, they could get an eye opener.
So Cathan, thank you very much and enjoy the celebrations.
Thank you. Cheers.
Moynihan's taken over all now in the Bushwhacker. Great drive by this year, your driver today, I should say.
Fair play to Cathan today. Like, we know from the world goal that we have to go ahead and carry the hold into the stage, and Cathan doesn't like, but say we lost the second half to it, but the next one was messy because the dust was very blankets and dust, a good bit of time in there, but there just worked in the dust, and fair play to Patrick Ulright and Stephen to win a championship and win a rally. Like, it's unbelievable. Like, cause I said to Paddy going to last year, this championship, like, and like, to win it, fair play, and Jason, and fair play to Omagh Motorclub. Like, this is the best rally I would go in Ireland even further, like, for forestry. Like, it is a race, like, it's all in gravel, like, so.
Yeah, and like, those short stages, they make it like there's no big chunks of time to be gained or lost. You can lose a lot of time, but you can't gain a lot of time, and that keeps the competition very high.
I know there are stages that they bring you year in year out, but the way they change them up and change them back and trying more cones here and here, like, everything is every car is a surprise, like, and I know it's fantastic, and fair play to everyone, and all I can say, like, it Cathan there drove unbelievable day, like, since this time last year, how many second thirds have we, like, so now we'll keep plugging away, that victory will come eventually, hopefully, like, so
thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
We'll be the right winners at the Bushwhacker Rally 2022. You're getting used to the gravel in the work too.
That's even a better ring to it than the Lakeland now. This is my home one. Not often you can drive her in and drive her home again, so good day, brilliant day. Motorclub put on a great event again, and the stages are always class, so good rally.
And Gary, from your point of view now, that's 2 1s and 2 and the sticks. Hard to beat that?
Hard to beat that, and that it's true what they say. It is the Omagh Grand Prix. That is unbelievable fast out there.
Is that your first time doing the Bushwhacker?
No, I've done it last year with Smyth.
Yes.
And like the same again, it was mental last year, and then get into the 2.5, like it's worse again.
Alan, from your point of view, like, we talked earlier about this was your first year in this car.
Yeah.
It keeps getting better and better.
Yeah, just I think every rally here we're just getting a wee more comfortable. Like, it's like a big change from 4-wheel drive, like, to go to that, and it's just, everything is just completely mental the way it goes and revs and screams, but the car handles brilliantly. And
that's me
well.
that's doing the screaming, by the
way. But no, Gary has done a brilliant job on the notes.
And you mentioned the club there. Like, those stages out there today are probably some of the best in the country.
They are. You go out to that 2-liter, like that. I don't know, the second one we done, like, the run through it is fast, like, it is door handle stuff, like, there are cuts where you can see the R5s going in and you're trying to follow and flicking the car up and all, but that's mental, just deadly, and it's good to get to the end of it, like.
And your competition today, Adrian Hillington, Davidson Bell, Shane McGurr, the cream of the cream was here today as well. So.
Oh yeah, they definitely, them boys to beat, like, and Adrian didn't hand it over, like, he was pushing too, I'm sure, and it was points of seconds and stages there, and it was nice to go out to the end. He'd always come back and ask, like, and good day's crack, I really enjoyed it. The weather held up, so what more could you ask for?
Exactly. And Gary, from your point of view, you talked about the trust between the two of you. That there must be a magic feeling for you as well.
It is there when you're coming into them last 2 stages and you're down between the 3s. The dust isn't clear. What's this? Like, that's a 4 left. I throw it into her and he fired her in. There's no issue. As I said earlier, if I had told him to go up that 3, he was going up it, and that was just class. Like, full of the rack.
I don't know if that's commitment or stupidity. I'm not actually sure now. Right now.
One time she was in full lock and he was going to lock again.
I'll take another grip of the wheel a couple of times today now, so you did.
So lads, thank you very much and enjoy the celebrations.
Thanks very much.
Cheers,
delighted now to welcome along now is Ryan Caldwell and Grace O'Brien. Great rally again today.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. That Bushwhacker's brilliant rally.
to do, so it's definitely.
Is that your first time now doing the Bushwhacker?
It's actually my second time. The first time I done it, I didn't even know what notes was. Grace was getting me around it.
And like to come so far, you know, and just over a year, like you've won the championship this year. Now Grace has finished second, the co-drivers title. Like, that's some feat.
There's a lot of learning from the start of the year to now, but now we got there. So.
Yeah. And Grace, from your point of view, this man, you know, you took him from like a drifter to a rally car driver. It's some feat in a year.
I don't know if I've done that. In fairness, he's done the driving, but no, in fairness, it's been a fantastic year working with Ryan and the full team, the family, Caldwell, and all the help we've got from Patrick, Stephen, Kevin and Frank O'Brien. And I'm just looking across the service park where we had the first meeting, sat in Opel Adam, and I was showing him around service to what this means. Look how far he's coming here, tarmac champion and forestry champion, so huge credit to him.
Yeah, and like, this is only the start. This guy's going places. And sorry, and Ryan, from your point of view, you have to be delighted with the year. You know, you've mastered gravel and tar, or maybe not. Well, mastered maybe, but you're getting there in both.
Yeah,
all starting to come together.
Yeah, no, definitely. Hey, actually, I love driving the gravel, so it suits me better, yeah. But hey, just from whenever I was a cub, I went to the rallies with Daddy and always wanted to do the rallies.
And then to finish off the year here on your home event, that must be even more special as well.
Definitely. It's brilliant.
This is probably one of the rallies you want to at the comp, and now you're here and you're spraying the champion.
That's it. Daddy watched Daddy for numerous years, so it was brilliant really get to come in.
Great to catch up with the guys there at the rump, and there's something special about the atmosphere about a rump. I know sometimes you hear the cars revving in the background and one thing and another, but that to me I just think adds to the whole thing. I didn't catch up with Jason Mitchell there at the finish rump. He had to head away, so I thought I'd catch up with him yesterday afternoon. For the guy that's done so little rallying, for the season he's had, I think it's a fantastic story, and it's a very candid story told excellently by Jason. So without further ado, let's hear from him. So Jason, we were chatting on Saturday at the Bushwhacker, and you talked about your season being like a season of snakes and ladders. What exactly do you mean by that?
Well, I suppose, Kevin, from I just feel I feel that when I start the start of the season, I had probably too high expectations of myself, and I suppose I had a lot of things regarding mechanical issues when I went to Galway, and wee upsets, that I didn't have to face before, and sort of get my head around the car, and sort of a low, sort of very indifferent start. Didn't feel comfortable in the car. Didn't feel comfortable at the rallies. And I just so I would say we were at the bottom of the ladder at that stage, and had probably with we shoots last year showing that there is something there. I sort of thought, if I get in here, we're going to get going fairly quick here. And then I realised, hey, this is not happening. This is just not what I expected. But, then I suppose I got Matt Edwards to, I said, look, I need to look into this a bit more as well to see what to try and get a better understanding of all the parts. And when I went on a test and had a really good test, well, Matt went then to West Cork, I think it was, and got off to a reasonable good start. I could see that my times wasn't that bad, and then put the car off in the third stage. So then we had the snake again. So we did so, and then I suppose after then just doing a few more events, then I just really backed the pace off. I really said, right, this is zero risk driving now. We're just going to have to take my oil here and accept that I'm not going to be in the race, and not something I like doing, Kevin. I don't like not being in the race. It's definitely, and as Ryan Lahorn said to me, you have to be on the drag. You have to be on the drag with these guys. You have to have a race, even if it's not the top boys. There has to be a race within the race to keep going forward. And so I suppose I did do that, and had a few rallies on tarmac, and then I did feel that it was coming, although the results weren't really, there was wee stages, where I just seemed to get the gander up a wee bit, and I could see the times, and I could see, that, I don't know, I can't remember where it was it Clarney or somewhere, where I actually got really frustrated with myself in the car, and I said to myself, I sort of lost the head of myself, and I just got a wee bit aggressive, maybe a bit too aggressive in places, but I started driving the car a bit better, and I realised then that, no, the time's here. We keep going, and then I suppose I skipped a few rallies, but we went through the process and had a plan with Matt. Matt had a plan. He said, stick with the plan, and I stuck with the plan. And the down rally, as you mentioned, was the rally where I thought good preparation, put the driving together. Now we had a huge moment in the second stage, and I did try to get out of the blocks. I did try to get out of the blocks a bit quick, so I did, but I made a mistake in the first stage. Had a huge moment in the corner that tightened on me in fifth gear on a narrow road, and we filled it. I don't know how many first hands get her back in the straight, and then just settled down and then I felt it coming. And I remember in the final stage when we were having the race against Derek McGarty and William Crichton then at the end of the rally for fourth. For fourth place, because there was only a few seconds between us, especially with William. And William was going hard, and Paddy says to me at the start of the stage, he says, "Now, don't be letting these boys beat you." And I wanted to turn around to Paddy and say, "Paddy," I told him after the stage, but I didn't want to sound cocky. I said, "Paddy, don't you worry about that," because I know and I went out and won this. I was quickest by 5 seconds on a relatively short stage. So, it was late in the rally. Kevin felt confident, and I felt I wasn't going to make any mistakes, and I knew you could push on. Conditions were down as well. So I said, "No, look, we're getting places now."
Yeah, because I watched that live at the time, and Matt Cotton interviewed you and told you were fast at the end of the stage, and you could just see a light bulb just almost going off in your head. I could just see that the confidence you just went yes kind of thing, And
it's just, you do feel it. It's funny. It's a funny feeling that you get in the car. But I sort of, there's a stage I get to where I feel I'm invincible in the car. And that feeling was starting to come. But there's a lot of different emotions in the car and different things happening in a rally to pick you up. Moving on then to the Ulster. That's a bit of a story, this, because the Ulster, I went into the Ulster and I was on holidays before the Ulster, so the preparation wasn't perfect, but I had done quite a lot of work on the notes. I'd wrote the notes prior because, I wrote the notes off because I write my own notes. So I wrote my notes off the Killian's DVD because I was having that and other gravel rallies on the previous year, the Grampian and whatever else. So I wrote the notes and I says, I'm landing late here, but I'm going to write my notes off the DVD and take them out so we get a really good look at the stages, because they were very technical and slippy and mucky. And I went there and on the Friday night, Kevin, was it, we done William, had a first or second corner again, had a moment. So I did, and I had myself talked on about getting out of the blocks early here to see if I could get a good rally. And I had a moment and probably sent me back a wee bit. But again, then I could start to feel where times are not bad here. Obviously, now I'm delighted with my third place position and also, but I did know that there was situations that helped me to get that third place and obviously Josh's position that he was in and all, but I still knew, yes, that I was still very careful and I was still relatively up there with the times. So as I come out of the Ulster, obviously feeling good again, and so I was a fourth and a third, and then I went to Dava, and obviously it was only one stage 3 times. had me and had a good day there as well, and I had Rory in with me as well, and we had a good day and no moments, just relatively good all day, and come out of it and we got our second. So with the Lakelands coming up, and I said to myself, and this is where the temperament has to be controlled, Kevin, because the snake coming again. So I said to myself, the rally snake wasn't far away. I didn't think it at the time, but I said to myself, I was fourth and down, I was third and Ulster, second and Dava. I said, there's only one place I'm going to end up today. And I said, I'm going to try and beat Desi or Cam or any of the boys here. I need to get out of the blocks early. And hey, Kevin, we also, unfortunately, anything I do wrong, he's cutting on the pace. So, and we all saw where that took me. And that was I probably really was annoyed with that, because I knew that the Bushwhacker was really the target. And I knew when I rolled the car, like when the car was still rolling, well, not still rolling, but when the car went over, my first thought in my head was, I've made a mess of us again. And I didn't need to do that. It was just because I was going for a fourth, third, second, and first. And I said to myself, I've ruined, I knew the car was going to be sorted out, because the car, we're very, very, very lucky with the car, because we had a bit of panel on her. But I knew that I was going to have to have a slow start at the Bush, because I couldn't, I did not want to have this. I didn't want to have this problem. I didn't want to go off in the Bushwhacker in the first stage, and especially with the format, because I knew that the Bushwhackers rally that I obviously want to try and do well in the future, and I'm like no secret of that. And I knew that I had to invest in this Bushwhacker now, especially this year, because I had the off. I've had the going to be a wee bit
hesitant or whatever, I suppose.
And I was very, very, very indecisive from the first stage. I was, I had a brilliant test with Matt on Thursday, but I got to know the road and I was doing things right. And we got out of the car. Like Matt says, and now he says that the two of us were giggling. We were going that hard. Do you know what I mean? And I got out of the car and I said, it felt brilliant. And we just, everything was clicking. And I went on the first stage and come out of the first stage and I said, so I said, if I was to get marked here on that stage, I'd probably get about 3 out of 10. So I didn't do what I was told to do, and I didn't, even when I knew I could do it, I chickened out. So, but saying that, then you could see then everything started coming again. So, in stage 2, we had a good enough run in stage 2, but still a wee bit indecisive. And then stage 3, it started to come. And then I just found myself in a position then, I could find at service, when I got on the service, Desi had a spin. So there's only 0.6 or 0.8 of a second between myself and Desi. And I knew the boys were racing hard at the front. I knew Patrick was going to get a cleaner road. And I said to myself, hey, third's my race. I'm not going, I think I can manage third here. So, hey, Kevin, I just settled myself and I just went and drove it, and like Paddy, we had absolutely no moments at all that day. We didn't even have a cover, so the car, maybe free step out in a few fast corners, but we didn't even have a cover, and I thought, we have done this. I come out of the end of the rally and I was happy because I knew that I drove really sensibly. And there were some of the stages I was coming away. Well, I had stage 1 and I had a few where I was seconds or second cut, only half a second or second. Yeah. I said to myself, no, this is the Matt Edwards way here. I just need to do it better and more often and get it right, and the majority of the corners instead of just some of the corners. So I think, Kevin, look, I'm definitely going in the right way, and a big credit to Matt and that. And what I need to do now is just be patient. I need to be patient. So now I do feel I was a wee bit worried about my age. I said, like I'm, getting too old for, I've started too late in this job. But what I've realised is that get into a rally car and get that smell of that race fuel, that takes about 20 years off you. I feel a different animal when I get into that car. I drive to the rally. I drive to the rally, and I'm not somebody that is that overly nervous. I've played sport all my life, and I've sort of got the gist of nerves and stuff. I don't be overly nervous. But what I do feel different from any other sport that I've played, when I get into the rally car and I sit in the seat, I feel different. I feel when I'm driving out the first stage, I just feel like this. I like this feeling. It's not a feeling I don't. When sometimes I played rugby for years and we played in the finals, and you're running out on the pitch and you were as nervous. You were sitting in the changing room before you went out. You were really nervous, and a sick feeling in your stomach. I get on the rally car and I drive out the stage, and I feel good. I feel that I'm meant to be in there. So I just think now that that's something now that I need to carry forward now. Get me, get in the mix with these boys. I think it's another critical. I get into the mix with these boys and let them pull me along as well. Because I like that on Saturday now. I really like, even if I finish fourth, as long as I was able to mix it.
Yeah, with Patrick and Cathan and Desi, and that's not taking anything away from the other guys. They were going really hard, but they are the cream of the crop. Them three guys and yourself included could go to the BRC or wherever and be up there battling, in this at the top level. So that's brilliant to see. And I was on the stages there on Saturday. I seen the commitment. It's gone to another level this year again. And Kevin, there is another big part of it as well, which I've thought about since the rally. I would nearly challenge, and this was a dangerous statement, I would challenge anybody to come and try and race Desi, Cathan or Patrick and Bushwhacker. Them, like these boys have the youth, the experience of that rally, and I've done it a number of times, and they're all first class men. You know what I mean? They're like, and I won a lot of them there because, as I said, even the boys behind us there are very good. But I do think that a lot of the top boys would even struggle with the likes of the boys on Saturday, because when Patrick and Can got on their race, obviously Desi had a spin and all, so I sort of left him. But that's them at their best there. Like I have no doubt about it. And from your own point of view, that's special that you're up there mixing it with those guys, and we keep going back. The amount of rallies you've done, compared to them is nothing. But as you say, there's so much more to come yet.
I hope so. Yeah, I hope so. Yeah. I really hope so, and I do believe there is now. I don't think age is going to beat me now. I don't think that, because last time you had me on the podcast, I was really concerned about. I was sort of myself going, there is a crop that I need to find here that I'm going to be mixing it with. You know what I mean? But am I in these boys now? I'm looking at them now. I'm not saying I'm going to beat them, Kevin, because I think it's silly of me to say that, but I'm definitely going to be trying. And no, it's just it's great. Like it is great sport, and it's even better when you're on the race. It's even better, and I have to improve. My driving is probably the most advanced part of me. I would say, my knowledge of the car and setups, notes, situations that you find yourself in the rally, situations you find yourself in the rally, how to control, when to go, when to hold, you know what I mean? I'm probably getting better at that as well, because I can sort of manage, I knew on Saturday, with Desi, we knew that there was something happened, Desi, but the times weren't right. And I still managed the times, just in the fear that Desi's time wasn't right that what we heard, because it was just somebody at the side of the road said Desi lost 10 seconds on there. And we knew that we were 2 seconds, with 2 seconds. So we knew going into the last loop, but we weren't sure because it wasn't saying it on the last course. Just manage these last 2 stages now. Make sure break a wee bit earlier for the chicanes, break a wee bit early, anywhere we can do an overshoot, because that's all takes to lose me put in. And I couldn't have done that a wee while ago, Kevin. I wouldn't have had the mindset to be able to think, to do them sort of things. And I do find myself now in the car, maybe if I get off with the right start and the right mentality, I can manage the rally better, and I just need to, I went out and, things that I've even took from the weekend. I went out in the wrong tyres in the second loop. I went out the 70s. I went out in the Michelin 70s, which are a great tyre. But, the stage is cleaned, and, the day was good and dry and warm. And, the tyres suffered. And if it had been in a race, it probably would have lost me the race, if you know what I mean. So
yes.
I have to look at these things now going forward and take note that, I need to be thinking about, I just go and put the tyres on and we go again, but I need to be thinking about more cleverly now if we're going to be down on this.
But you're down now. You're gone now from looking for seconds. It's down now to looking for tenths of seconds. It really isn't it?
Yeah, but I will say this. I will say this. I don't think. I think with a few gravel rallies, because really only have done Davor Rally, so. Yeah. Because I only had 2/3 of a stage in the Lakelands, unfortunately. So I've only done that Davor Rally and the test. So, my pace was pretty good, and I think that tarmac end has helped that, and obviously Matt with a children. But I do think now, Kevin, I still have a bit, I think I'll get closer, but I think in tarmac I still have a bit of moving, to be up to Josh and Callum and Desi and all the boys in tarmac and all the rest of them, Ali. I just think they're still a level above, but we'll see what happens. We'll see.
Like Jason Mitchell, for a guy that's been on the scene for such a short period of time, he really has come, a long way very quickly, and really looking forward to following and watching and see how his rallying career develops.
That's for sure. That is for sure. And then this weekend coming up now, we have the GSMC Baltinglass mini stages and the penultimate round of the BRC, the Trackrod rally. The Baltinglass rally, mini stages we'll call it. There's no entry list out for it yet, but it's going to be very interesting. There's an entry received up there for it. Josh Moffat's going to be out in the starlet, Ryan Loughlin in the escort, Chris O'Callaghan, Gary Kiernan, Damien Toller. If it's damp, Stuart Darcy, be far away in the Proton either, the four-wheel drive Proton. So, it's got the ingredients of a fascinating battle there, really, hasn't it?
It has, 2 stages, run 3 times. There's 90k there of competitive stage kilometers, and really does. And another interesting one you overlooked was Morris Moffat.
Yeah, great to see him back in the entry list. It's been a few years now since Morris has been out. So, he may, I don't know, he may have lost stage, he may not. It could surprise us all come Sunday morning, but just great to see him back in the stages again. He used to make, twin cams, he used to make dance, and then he had to start it then as well. And what he could do with a starlet, he was the man, there's no doubt about it, before the Milkman or any of these guys come along.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be interesting now to see how himself and Josh battle it out.
That is it. Yeah, that's for sure. And then, with the penultimate round is the BRC, the Trackrod rally. I suppose, what can we say about it? Keith Cronin needs to go there and won the rally, I suppose, to keep it. I don't know what way the permutations, but for the championship to allow out. But I suppose it has to target the one, really.
He does. It's still between himself and Oisin Price, and to be honest, personally, I wondered was it game over after the accident, in the last round of the BRC, and thankfully, I was delighted to see that Keith was going to be competing on the Trackrod.
That's for sure. And there's over 170 entries in for the Trackrod rally, but there's only 12 registered crews for the BRC. That has to be a wee bit of a concern for the championship.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you can understand the big entry list, particularly with the Dolby stage. Like that's a real famous one from the days of the RAC. But from the BRC Championship point of view, I'm surprised with 2 rounds still left to go that there's so few registered competitors, taking part. Kind of doesn't bode well at this early on in the season. We're not, it's still only, mid-ish September.
Yeah.
That so few are actually competing in the BRC because everything's not wrapped up yet.
No, and Oisin and Keith both have to play their joker, so will one of them be surprises and take the twist this weekend? Interesting to see now.
It will be, and to be honest, personally, I want this to go down to the wire.
Yeah,
it's been a great battle, it really has, and what do you call it? Looking forward to this going to the final round at the end of October, hopefully.
That's for sure. That's for sure. And then Eamon Kelly and Conor Mogan going over there. Hopefully, Conor will claim the co-drivers championship, and Johnny Mulholland and Owen as well make the trip over too. So there's plenty of Irish interest there as well too. So hopefully they've all a good safe weekend. And I suppose there's no WRC coming up this weekend, but there's been a few shakes been starting to happen. The merry-go-round starting to go round. We're here now. OJ is going to do the last 3 rounds. A bit of an interesting move there for him.
Yeah, I was surprised by that announcement. Went out in social media, just where he announced he'd be doing the final 3 rounds of this year's championship. He was expected to do Japan, obviously for that's the home rally for Toyota. We expected him to go to New Zealand because he flagged that several months ago that it was back on the calendar and he was interested to get back there. Spain, it's not an event he's been particularly strong in, and therefore we kind of counted that he wouldn't be there. And again, got to remember, if he's competing in those 3 rallies, he's kind of pinching points away from his teammate who's trying to secure the Drivers' Championship. So that made me surprised to see him going to Spain particularly. And I'm just wondering, is there something else to it? Is there,
is there moves afoot maybe or something? I don't know.
Yeah, like is he calling it a day completely now? I don't know. There's been no talk of it. But it's just, I'm just wondering, for a man that stepped away from rallying to have a bit more time with the family, to make the commitment of New Zealand, Spain, Japan, he's not going to be
in a very short space of time, the 3 events. So, and then also news breaking today then that M Sport are not sending
Adrian Formeau
to New Zealand either, which is come as a bit of a shock as well.
Yeah, a bit of a surprise. Obviously, they're looking at the finances there, and I would suspect if he's not been sent to New Zealand, he probably won't be sent to Japan either. They have confirmed to be in Spain, but I would say there's a question mark whether he'll be going to Japan. But obviously, there's a lot of cost cutting going on in M Sport. I suppose they realise, look, they're having a shot at the manufacturers this year. That's done, dusted, it's gone for them. So maybe why spend money they don't need to spend?
Yeah, and you think if Loeb was was doing them events, they would be announcing it at the same time to kind of distraction almost, So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's no word of Loeb. I know Loeb had wanted to do Spain, but it conflicts with the World Rally Cross Country Championship program that he's involved in, and he's leading that at the moment, so he couldn't skip it. Originally, that event was supposed to run earlier in the year, but due to floods, it was moved, and then unfortunately, and it's in Spain as well, that round, it clashes with the WRC round. Ridiculous, but there you go.
Yes, and then Danny Sordo, conflicting reports are coming out. There's one report that he's re-signed for Hyundai next year, and another then that he's considering stepping away from the sport. So it's going to be interesting.
Absolutely, very mixed one. Yeah, just don't know what way that's going. I like, and at the end of the day, his praises were being sung there for bringing home another podium in Greece. What am I right? Is it 5 third places in the last consecutive outings he's had? The report today where he's considering his future, maybe he's not happy he's not getting a win in there somewhere, which as a part-time driver you're never going to be allowed to do.
No. And it shows he still has the competitive edge. I would say a lot of it's going to Tanak, where the murmurings that he's not happy. Will he stay? Will he go? I would say once that starts to, we get more clarity on that. I think could be a few more moves before the season's out.
Think so. We don't know if Lappy's going anywhere, or he's staying put. Again, OJ staying or going has an effect whether Lappy gets a full season or another part-time drive. Tanak, you're right, we don't know where he's going. And if you're going to throw Danny into that, and then we still don't know what Loeb wants to do next year. Yeah.
Yeah, and like for the young guys coming up through, yes, I know Rovenpera and Solberger's very young, but it must be soul destroying to see, the likes of Sordo and Loeb, to an extent, OJ still taking seats. Like, you look at somebody like John Armstrong, who's talent to burn and can't seem to get to the next level,
Yeah, well, look, you've named a few people who there are frustrated. I would say probably the most frustrated are Andreas Mikkelsen and Mads Osberg, because they're running out of time, from an age point of view, to get full-time drives, or even, Jesus, I say either would tear a hand off for a part-time drive.
Yeah, true, very true. Yeah, so we'll be keeping a tight eye on that over the next few weeks, because I think it's going to be very interesting to see how it all shakes out. No doubt about it.
Absolutely. I would say come Spain, we'll probably know what's happening with Tanak. I don't know if it will go on much longer than that. Hyundai probably wouldn't allow it to go on much longer than that. They need to get that team settled down for next year as soon as possible.
That's for sure. So that's all for this week. So if we could please once again ask you to like, share, rate the podcast. The response over the last few weeks has just been mind blowing. So once again, really appreciate everything all your feedback and all. It's mind blowing, and anybody that took the time to come up and spoke to me at the Bushwhacker, you don't know what that does. It gives us a great lift here. So thanks again. So until the next time, take care, speak soon, and bye.
Oh,